Pressing buttons, pressing buttons. Okay, hi everybody. I'm Debbie Levitt from dcx, and welcome to. Hi, Deanna. How are you and your puppy? Welcome to the every Wednesday show for Ask Me Anything. This is when I happily take your questions on any topic, and since the Delta CX Hive covers pretty much all of work and all of personal life, all of your questions are welcome. I'm now a certified life coach. And so if people want to talk about personal things, you are welcome to. If you want to talk about work things, you are welcome to. Everything is open. All topics are welcome. And I'm happy to take those topics wherever you want to go with them, whatever helps you. And it's free, so it's worth at least what you've paid. Just a reminder to join our online community, which I'm in the process of trying to reorganize, Delta CX Hive in the Discord. So join us at dcx.to/Discord. Our online community is free. So if you're worried that there is a membership fee or a club fee or a cool kids fee, there is not. Our Patreon is free. So I'm trying to make everything as free as possible. I just want to see people involved, supporting each other, and getting whatever help they need. So normally I stay here as long as people have questions. And so if you have any questions, you can drop them into the chat. They'll pop up on the screen, or you can send them anonymously at dcx.to/Q for question. That will come into my email and I will get the question up on the screen. If your question comes up after the show ends, sorry about that, but I will save your question and I will answer it next week. So you will always get an answer to your question. It just might not be right now if it happens to come in after the show ends. Hello, Ana Lucia. I don't know why my messages stopped coming up on the screen. Let me try a refresh. Okay, so hopefully they will come up. Hello. So I don't have any questions right now. I will put a test up there and make sure that. Okay, good. So that test is coming up. So yeah, I don't have any questions right now. Nobody's written in with anything. Again, if you do write something in, you can send it in 24 hours a day, any time of any day, and I save them for Wednesday. So feel free if you think of a question another time to send it in. But yeah, I am happy to talk about anything anybody wants to talk about. Just let me know. How is everyone doing? Always a good question. Mm. I would say ups and downs. Certainly in my world, some things going well, some things going not as well. Andalusia says, I'm making a cuppa, as the British friends would say. Yes, have a lovely cup of tea. As always, I have my water. And yeah, so that is that. I am working on my next book. Today, I decided it is not going to be life after tech size. It is going to be customers know you suck size. So making it a little bigger so it can end up a little thinner. So that's I'm working, and then you have the set. Then they all look so nice together. You know, when you uh, have the let's pull it out on my desk here. You have the matching set, and then this will be the next one in the group. The book I'm working on is essentially a follow up to Customers Know You Suck. And today I was working on the subtitle for it. Maybe I should run it by all of you and see what you think. So the book is called Atomic Product Market Fit, since the topic is going to be better product market fit, as in fitting products and services to your target audiences. Something I might know a few things about. And I am thinking for the subtitle the following: if your company likes failure, they're really going to love success. Just a thought there. I have that matching set in my personal library. Yay! Yeah, I think it'll be fun to have all the books lined up and feeling similar. Okay, Diana says, why atomic? So, the idea of my atomic product market fit model, which I don't think I've talked about much yet on this channel, is the idea of product market fit at three levels. You have a macro level, a meso level, and a micro level. So think of it as the compound, the molecule, and the atom. These things are, all made up of each other. And so the book is going to be talking about the importance of finding product market fit, or PSE market fit for fans of my other writings, product, services, and experiences that really fit your target market, who are going to be your customers and potential customers. Um, and I was just thinking about, from the customers know you suck energy, I was thinking about a little bit of a spicy subtitle because it's one of the first lines in the book, which is Atomic Product Market Fit as the title, and as the subtitle, if your company likes failure, they're really going to love success. I could write a subtitle that's more. Well, Claude was helping me brainstorm a couple of subtitles, and they all felt very uh, you know, who's going to pick up that book type of thing. Oop, sorry, I think I killed my own camera there for a moment. Seems interesting. I would get that book coming from you. I'm sure it would be actionable, no complaining from me. Well, you're biased, Donna Lucia. Thank you very much for buying my books. Um, yeah, so I'm working on it right now. Customers Know You Suck had 125,000 words, so it was definitely on the long side. Life After Tech, I think, had about 40,000 words, so it was on the shorter side. I'm definitely not done with the book, and right now it's at 62,000 words. I'm hoping it won't go over 70,000 words so that its length will end up longer than Life After Tech, but not as long as Customers Know You Suck. So that's what I'm hoping to get together. I'm hoping to publish it in January, but the deadline is me, and so that's where I am with that. Um, and I'm just working on that book a little each day, and eventually I will ask some people if they would please be editors, and they'll look at the early versions, just as we always do with my books. So. Hopefully, proofreading it before Christmas, but if not, maybe in January, maybe it goes out later. You know what? Who cares? It'll come out when it's ready. I hate books that only talk about theory and aren't actionable. We need a lot more work to digest the information to apply it. Ugh. Yes, I agree. So, the book kind of takes a similar format to Customers Know You Suck, like what is product market fit? Why are we getting it wrong? How can we get it right? And then I'm going to write a special chapter to tie it also back to Life After Tech and talk about product market fit for entrepreneurs. I think a lot of us are thinking about what else we might do beyond tech. And so the question is, how do we make sure we're finding that PMF, whether it's a product or a service or an experience or something else? How do I make sure I'm finding PMF for my karaoke DJ business or my life coaching business? So I want to try to include something in there that isn't just about, hey, you big companies, but is also about startups and entrepreneurs. And yeah, thank you, Ana Lucia. We live in each other's heads. So that's something that I'm going to add. I haven't even written that chapter yet. So again, I'm hoping to keep it on the medium size as business books go. I don't think I want it to end up as long as Customers Know You Suck, even though that sold very well and people loved it. Imagine someone wants to create a company to make, I don't know, cleaning products. They also need PSE. That's right. Your cleaning products are your PSE, but how do you know what your customers need? So I'll give you an interesting example, and let me just make a note what we're talking now. I know what we're talking about. So I'll give you an example. One of my coaching clients has been interviewing at jobs recently, and she always tells me about the companies she's interviewing at. And sometimes we do a little practice interviewing. And she keeps sending me these companies who I think when the AI bubble bursts or there's some sort of AI crash of like all the companies who aren't really going to have a future because even though they offer AI something, it's not strong enough. It doesn't really have long term product market fit or product market fit at the three levels that I'm talking about. And I'll give you an example. One of the companies she interviewed at, you take your HR data, so you import or somehow tie together your data about who works at your company, what job title they have, what level they have in your levels, how much you're paying them, and other information about them so that you can see, uh, are you paying people the right amount? Does everybody who has the same title and level, are they getting paid the same amount? You don't want to be in trouble for paying some people more than others. I remember a few years ago when I worked with a South African company, they said this was a very big deal in South Africa, and that they had to check, were they paying white people more than black or brown or other people. So, this company where my coaching client was interviewing, you will import your HR data and it will use AI to run reports on your data. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like that company, even if it has funding, even if it has customers, even if it has some happy customers, it might not be set up for long term product market fit because as soon as your HR system that had all this data improves their reporting, you don't need this other company. Or if you can export your data and have AI run reports on it, why wouldn't you just get a Claude license, turn off training so that your data is private, and run your own Claude stuff on your own data? Why would you need this other company to be involved in this? Ana Lucia says, Dr. Nick showed an example yesterday on LinkedIn that for me was critical. Unfortunately, many people seem to be only focused on the shocking material instead of what he had to say about why that might have happened. It was about someone passing away from an overdose because a pharma company made pills with new concentrations and then doctors were used to. It was shocking. We need to talk about it. Yeah, I saw that post. He talked about how the typical dose, I think, was 50 micrograms. Was that a micro symbol? I think he said most doses were 50 micrograms and that the new pills were 200 micrograms, and they were expecting doctors or nurses or whoever it might be to break the pill into four, which would definitely make no sense if the pill is not scored to be broken. But if people are used to giving people a whole pill and that was 50 micrograms, and now you're giving them four times the dose or 10 times the dose or whatever it ends up being, I don't remember his exact numbers. Um, that is a problem. I don't think that's a product market fit problem, but that definitely is a user experience problem. It is a life and death problem, obviously, and it's hard because people say, "Oh, well, they should have checked what the dosage was," but at the same so yes, I see that, but at the same time, if they're used to a pill having a certain dose and all of a sudden the pill is made with a different dose, that could definitely be confusing. I think Larry worked on a system like this. Did he write about that in Disruptive Research, where he worked on a system that had to do with making sure that people in hospitals got the correct pharmaceuticals to give to patients? Something like that. Does that sound familiar? I think the problem lies with the pharma company. They didn't talk with doctors. Yeah, because congratulations on your new higher dose pill. But if most people or nobody should be taking a dose higher than 50 micrograms or whatever it was, then congratulations on your new much more powerful pill doesn't make any sense. Nobody needs that dose. So there's definitely a break there that maybe we don't fully understand yet, or we don't have all the details. Um, I can certainly see a lot of people pointing fingers. Oh, it's the doctors. Oh, it's whoever administered the medication. Oh, it's the pharma company. Maybe the blame is shared, but definitely something that could be improved. And now someone's going to come in and say, well, maybe AI can do something. Maybe AI could have told this person to double check this dosage. Look, you're just dreaming now. You're just hoping that you can just rub a little AI on everything and it's all going to be better. The bottom line is uh, this system has to be, as Larry would say, you don't want it to be error prone. You want to make sure that it is, in this case, impossible to make this kind of mistake. It shouldn't just be difficult to make this mistake, it should be impossible. Ana Lucia says, I don't think AI would even pick it up. And that's possible as well. But I know there's going to be someone out there who's going to say, oh, yeah, AI should know a normal dose of this is 50 micrograms. These pills are 200 micrograms. So the AI should tell the person to make sure they break the pill, but that implies that the AI has communicated that in a way that this person sees in time and that they understand it and that they do it. It's still imperfect. So, this is not something where you can just brush a little AI on here and you've solved the problem, especially when people are dying. You need to take a closer look at the root causes, all the things that I'm always talking about in all my books. Look at those root causes. What happened here? What's causing this? Where can this be improved? Maybe it can be improved in multiple ways or places, but we have to look at that. And this is probably a larger service design adventure. I'm just going to make a note about some of the things we've talked about for the YouTube description. Um, Dr. Nick's post about people dying of overdose due to pharma mistakes. I don't think that's the best course of action to improve a workflow. There's one more step or several more if they have to check the dosage, break the pill, and all that. Yeah, I don't know what's the right way to go because I didn't research this. So again, we can guess at this stuff. We can guess, we can assume, we can have opinions, we can ask AI, but we don't know. And until we do more research and have more knowledge of it, sure we can look at Dr. Nick's post and he might have some information for us, but I'm not standing in a hospital or an operating room or a or something like that and looking at what happens when someone needs medication in a gentle way or medication in an emergency administer this immediately way. Like I this is something where you really have to understand the context and what's going on and how it all happens. And Ana Lucia is right, it's task analysis galore. So we someone could research this and understand what's going wrong and figure out the best way, excuse me, to solve this. But certainly a hint seems to be that the dosage of the pill should match the dosage that you're giving people, and that a pill with significantly higher dosage doesn't make sense, at least not for an emergency medication where someone's going to have to figure out, am I breaking up pills or not? But it's hard because I know that medical workers never feel like they have time. So you can't say, well, they should take the time to double check this and that. It's easy to say that. But I would imagine, and again, I'm guessing here, if we did the research, we would see how nobody has any time. And there's lots of pressure and competing priorities and people in different critical conditions. And it might be hard to say, oh, let me stop and check if this pill still has the dosage it used to. So, yeah, interesting topics for sure. And again, that's where research done by humans is the only way to go here. Preferably qualified humans. I'm biased towards qualified humans. I know, I'm so wacky with all that. Oh, excuse me. Hello, this is Ask Me Anything, which I do every Wednesday. It's Wednesday. We recently changed our clocks. I think some other countries are changing them soon. So check your calendars for when I'll be broadcasting. I broadcast at 7 p.m. Italy time. Ana Lucia says, being from healthcare, yes, there's no time for anything. You have to do too much at the same time. And then this doesn't help. Elif so, yeah, I can't read that. Says, can you see my question? That is a good question. Um, no, we didn't see your question. Sorry about that. I see it now. Hi, I wondered how you decided to write Elif. Hello, Elif. I never know how much of someone's Twitch name is their name. I just wondered how you decided to write a book. What was your motivation to share what you know? Sure, I can talk about that. Let's put that up on the screen as an interesting question, and we'll get it on the list of questions. And okay, so VMix came out with their new version. And to put the question up on the screen, I have to press number 4, which used to be easy. And now they added more numbers. And for a moment, my brain was like, what number do I press? Okay, pressing number 4 puts the question up on the screen. I still love VMix. And so, Elif, thank you for the question. And I would say that this is how I roll. On my desk are 3 of the 6 books that I have self published. So, this is something that I tend to do when I believe I have some information that could help other people. It usually becomes a broadcast on the Delta CX Hive channel where everything's archived on our YouTube channel because it's not archived on Twitch. I've got over 1,000 videos on YouTube, so there's definitely that's a great searchable archive. Very often, I'm writing some books that I hope will help people. So 2022's was Customers Know You Suck, about being more customer centric. 2023 was Ghostwriting Disruptive Research with Larry Marine. Last year, I published Life After Tech, about what are we all going to do when we no longer want to work in tech or tech doesn't want us. So that is so my motivation to share what I know is constant. I am constantly motivated to share what I know because that's what I do and that's why I'm here. Even if 3 people watch my stream, maybe I helped one of them. um let's see. Okay, so Elif is sending more questions. Let's put them up. You also said, I'm wondering, what events are you planning for next year? Right now, none. Right now, I only applied to one conference and I don't think they're going to accept me. So, as of now, I am not planning any events. Of course, there will always be broadcasts on this channel. Those are my events. They're usually free. So that is what I'm planning as of now. If there's an event you're hoping I'll plan, please tell me because I love to get ideas from the audience. So let me know if there's an event you think I should be planning. Um, Elif also asks, do you have a reason to share? Is it just intuitive? What about imposter syndrome? This is my reason for living. My reason for living is to be a catalyst to others and to be helpful to others. Not everybody is going to agree with me. Not everybody is going to take my advice. Some people might hate what I have to say, but I seem to be helping at least some people, and that's why I'm here. And so, if the broadcasts help anybody, if the articles help anybody, if the videos help anybody, if the books help anybody, I am fulfilling my life purpose. So, the reason to share is just in the hopes that something I have to say helps somebody. As I like to say, if 85% of people agree with 85% of what I say, or if they like 85% of what I say, that would be amazing. I don't expect everybody to like or agree with everything, but maybe I can be helpful. I typically don't have imposter syndrome because I typically don't have bad managers and workplaces treating me like I'm incapable. I find that most imposter syndrome comes from being treated like you're a fraud, even if you're not. And then we end up internalizing that. We go, oh God, I must be bad at this. Look at how I'm being treated. I must be bad at this. Um, Other than that, I don't have imposter syndrome because the things I've been doing for many years. Some things I've been doing for 10 years, 20 years, longer. So I don't tend to feel unconfident about these things. If I feel unconfident about something, I just probably wouldn't do it. I try to do the things that I'm confident about and that I think will help others. So yeah, I would say it's intuitive, it's natural. I'm here to help and share. That's what the Delta CX Hive community is all about. Other people who are there to give and take, and we welcome that. And I don't think there's a good reason for anybody to have imposter syndrome. You know, you're good at stuff. You got hired. The imposter syndrome usually comes from us believing crappy people treating us badly. Got it. Thank you. I also have a goal to write a book. I asked Love from Istanbul. Hey, hi from Istanbul. By the way, because I've written so many books, I also help people with books. If you are curious, go over to dcx.media, and that is the website where I talk about helping people with books. It's under the services. If you think I can help you, let me know. If you don't need my help, also fantastic. But See if there's anything I can do, let me know. I do ghostwriting, I do editing, I do help people plan their books. There's lots of stuff that I do. Anna Lucia says, if it wasn't for you, meaning me, and thank you, I would still be lost and wandering around looking for logic, a path, or something. I was completely lost after dealing with my burnout. I knew I needed to walk away, but how? Why? Going where? So, yeah, at least I can say you helped me. Well, thank you. And again, any help that I can offer people, even if it's not the advice they were hoping to hear, even if it's not the best news, there's still things that we need to talk about. Talk about how it can be difficult to get jobs, or writing a book can be tough. Writing a book can take years, and so for some people, writing a book feels easy. For other people, writing a book feels really hard. And there isn't one right way to do any of these things. The right way is the way you're doing it, and so that's the thing is I'm all about everybody finding their own path. I like to say I like to help you push your boat out, and I hope I've helped you know how to row your boat. But you've got to row your own boat. You know, I'm not going to make decisions for people and stuff like that. I can just try to help and hope that you rowing your boat goes awesomely, and help you if it doesn't. Whatever I can do. Hello, Ali John Paul Tunde. Hello. I'm getting the salute emoji. Hello. Do you have any questions? This is usually my live Wednesday Ask Me Anything show. I'm happy to take questions related to work, questions related to personal stuff. Now that I have my life coaching, I graduated from school with it. So really, any side that I can help people with coaching, mentoring, advising. This is my free time because you're not paying for it, to see if I can help people with anything. So questions are welcome. You can ask them in the chat, and they usually pop up here, or you can send them anonymously and 7 days a week to dcx.to/Q. Q for question. And if for some reason your question comes in after the show ends, I will catch it and keep it and start with it next week. So all questions will get an answer, though sometimes a little delayed. Is anybody changing clocks this weekend? I don't know when Istanbul changed clocks. We just changed clocks. Ana Lucia, did you change clocks? Diana, did you change clocks? I am not sure. We changed last weekend. Yes, it sucked for me too. Usually it does not hit me hard and I vibe with it and it goes great. Ah, you don't change in Istanbul. Yeah, when I lived in Arizona, we didn't change clocks. Arizona is one of those rare places that does not change. Yeah, it was tough for me to adapt also. I don't know why. It just hit me so hard. So it was a few days ago. I decided I'm just going to go to bed really early and try to catch up on sleep, and that helped. I never noticed the change. Yes, but does your dog? Your dog's like, "Hey, wait, I'm hungry." At the time I used to be hungry. The dogs they've got a mission. Um yeah, I'm still adapting too. So I don't love daylight savings time. Oh, excuse me. I wish we didn't have daylight savings time. So I'm jealous of Turkey and Arizona and the places that do not change. Yes. She's amazing. She doesn't wake me up early unless it's light, and she's always hungry. Diana has a super cool pup. I was trying to go to bed earlier, and that messed me up. Oh, all right. I actually successfully went to bed early the other night. It might have been Monday, because today's Wednesday. I got into bed at 3 in the afternoon. I kid you not, and I just watched videos and uh, plotted and planned a couple of things, and fell asleep at 9:30 at night, which is a little early for me, and woke up at 7 in the morning. So I felt so refreshed yesterday. Today I'm feeling a little less refreshed, but I really needed it, and luckily I was able to sleep. And I do listen to stuff all night long. I don't know about any of you. Any of you listen to sounds or music or voices all night long? I find I cannot sleep without some sort of constant sound. And I went through my How It's Made playlist. Anybody like How It's Made? Okay, Elif says, I have another question. Cool. I recently started making decisions like an adult. Congratulations. Sometimes it's hard. I'm a solo UX writer with 75 designers. Do you have any tips on making decisions easier? I always overthink the other possibilities. I take a long time to make a decision. Yeah, we can certainly talk about making decisions. Can you give me an example of a decision? It's hard for me to say, oh, yeah, if you're making a decision, always to this. Can you give me maybe an example of a decision so that I can try to give some thoughts on approaching it? And I'll also get this question up on the screen. No, I don't want to press number 8. I want to press number 4. New version of vMix. Up, and we're getting an anonymous question in the email, so we'll get that one up next. Thank you to whoever sent that in. I'll look at it in a moment. Today I'll go to bed earlier. Last night was rough. It's that time of the month. I was nauseous. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'll take a look at the anonymous question. Oh, that was it. Oh, Alif, I just got your anonymous question about the book. I'm so sorry that that came in so late. Boo. Yeah, that's why the questions sometimes come in late. So I'm sorry about that. Um, hey, great news from Melanie in the Discord. This is amazing. Yes, great news from Melanie in our Discord. Cool. She got paid for some work that she thought was going to be volunteer. So, yes, Melanie is an important person to me, and I sure hope she will find some more work. Leaf, did you have an example of a decision? Because obviously, there's lots of different ways to approach decision making. Some of it is related to values and priorities. What are your values? What do you value? Does thinking about your values help you make a decision? Um, what about priorities? Is something more important than something else? For decisions, sometimes people find making a pros and cons list. I don't know if this is a decision about one thing or another, so I don't know if pros and cons make sense. I don't know if you're deciding amongst multiple possible things, but it says, I always overthink the other possibilities. So if this if this, and I'm guessing, I don't know, if this has to do with UX writing, knowing that you have a lot of things that you have to write and get out to designers, but you might be kind of thinking about your writing and rethinking about it and redeciding about it. I think eventually you just have to give yourself permission to say, "This is good. I'm gonna move it on." And if they are doing any user testing or prototype testing or usability testing, you can always see if they'll test your writing, and that way you'll know if there's something that needs to be changed, and that way you can just move it on. Oh, you got the ad break. I'm sorry about that. I do have an example. I'm trying to decide on how a product should write. I did the research, but it all comes down to me. How a product should write. I'm not sure what you mean by that. And sorry you got stuck in the ad break. That definitely happens on um, Twitch. Um, do you mean the voice of the product, like the mood or personality, how it should sound, or do you mean how you'll write about the product? How a product should talk. That's even more interesting. Does this product talks? Wow, I want to know more. um, wow. Um, uh, yeah. How product should does it actually talk? Like, is this a product that talks to people like a chatbot or an AI conversational? Is this a conversational UX writing thing? I know you can't tell me too much because it's real work, but I'm just curious. I mean, for me, especially if these are decisions that have to do with UX and work, I just always start with the users. What do we know about the users? And so if it's a tone of voice thing, then the question might be, what is the right tone of voice for this product based on what customers and users are going to expect? Yeah, what's the target audience? What is the mood and personality of the company? I can think of some companies where the mood and personality is a little silly or wacky, and so they build that into their writing. Like sometimes when I take a screenshot with Snagit, hashtag not sponsored, I'm overpaying them. um a little thing will come up on the screen and it'll say, "This is the most beautiful screenshot anyone has taken today." And that's just a funny silly moment, but they've decided that that's part of the voice or the brand voice. And so I think if you're trying to make a decision about a brand voice, one, it's great if you can do any testing and try to figure out what voice works best. But I would say go back to what we know about the users, and also go back to what the company's mood and personality is. If it's millennials or Gen Z, it could be adequate to use slang or internet memes. It depends. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against a company that's using slang or internet memes, but slang is usually not international. And so that doesn't always carry across. Elif says, I think the thing I'm trying to disregard the spammer. I think the thing, Anna Lucia, do you have powers here? Can you ban that person? I can't remember if I gave you that power. I thought I did. Um, I think the thing I'm trying to ask is about confidence. I understood what you mean about letting myself. Maybe it's about the courage to fail or not. Okay, you don't. I'll have to fix that some other day. All right, let me go in and ban this person for what it's worth. Let's see. Ban. There you go. Yeah, I guess the question is it might be about confidence. Let's see. Ana Lucia, mod, warn, timeout, ban, no. Suspicious, no. Block, no. I don't see how I make you. All right, I'll have to figure this out another day on Twitch. Um, so Ye I think the question is, where do we find confidence? That's always a tough one. Confidence is knowing that you can do the job well or that you'll eventually do it well. And you have the job, you're a good writer, you can do this, right? So the question is, the courage to fail or not. I don't usually think of it as the courage to fail because I don't want to fail. As I was saying at the beginning of the stream, if you like failure, you're really going to like success. So I think the question is this really about the courage to fail? Sometimes it's about the courage to succeed. Sometimes people with confidence problems are sometimes more nervous about succeeding, but that's going to be different for different people. But I think the question is, where do you find confidence? And my thought would be, you got the job, you know what you're doing, you're good at this. I'd love you to just have confidence. Can that confidence come from within you versus me telling you, hey, you're probably good at this? We were sadly taught that failing is bad, but it helps us learn. We fear failing. Well, personally, I think we hear too much that that failing is good because now everybody seems to be failing and they're not always learning. We're not guaranteed that we learn from failing. I think a lot of companies fail and then don't take the time to learn. People fail and don't always learn why. I would love us to stop connecting failure with learning because they're not necessarily connected. You can fail without learning, you can learn without failing. Let's write that one down. That sounds good for my book. I better go type that to Claude before I forget. I've got Claude holding a couple of notes for me. Hey, I just said this on my live stream and I want to remember it. You can fail without learning and you can learn without failing. So, yes, can we learn from failure? We can. Can we learn without failing? That's even better. Um, yeah. So, just doing it and seeing where it goes. Why not? Why not? See where it goes. And again, if you get to test any of your writing, that's really going to help you because otherwise you're guessing where it goes. And it would be great if you could do some of that writing or that product voice and get to test it with the target audience. Oh, and say, or hey, if this screen came up and it said this or this, which one works better for you? Which one makes more sense? Maybe it's just some even simple preference testing. I always love to talk to users where I can. If your company doesn't love that, maybe you're sending out surveys, but some sort of language preference so you can get a feeling of who are your customers and is there a clear preference for how the system communicates with them. In general, people like clarity, they like honesty, they want to understand any error messages and what they can do about it. They want to understand their options. Um, and then the rest of it is really what kind of personality does your company want to have? Obviously, for my brand personality is all about honesty and sometimes being very blunt and saying things the way I see them, even if that comes off a little bit strong. Um, that's my brand. And so that's the voice that I use in my books, in my articles, in my videos, where in my live talks, wherever you're going to find me, that's who I am. And so, but that's not going to work for other people. Other people are going to do books and videos and conference talks that are maybe more professional. Not that I'm unprofessional, but they're more even toned or they're softer, gentler, but I picked the brand that matched my personality. Anna Lucia says, yeah, what about some A/B testing or a survey? Yeah, so, and didn't Airbnb have a failure rate of like 96%? I don't know if it was Airbnb, but I've certainly shown the slide enough times of the A/B test failure rates where it was like, what was it? Yeah, Airbnb was like 92%. Yeah, I think you are remembering that correctly. And Microsoft was like 66% and Amazon was like 50%. So even when people think they're creating some great thing and they're going to test it against the current thing, it can fail. But you're only learning if you find out why. If you fail and then you just go with another guess and you fail again, you didn't learn. So to me, the important part is the learning. And again, you can fail without learning and you can learn without failing. So, how can we bring more learning into our process? I got to write that down. Claude's digging it. Claude says, that's a brilliant insight. Perfectly dismantles the fail fast to learn fast mythology. You can fail without learning. Most teams just repeat the same mistakes with different features. They fail fast but never understand why they failed, so they keep failing in the same ways. And so this is Claude writing to me. You can learn without failing. Good research, observation, and understanding customers deeply teaches you what works before you build anything. No failure required. This completely flips the startup gospel that failure equals learning. Learning comes from good process and genuine curiosity, not from shipping broken things. So cool. I'll work that into the book tomorrow. And Elif says, I really like your approach. It's light and liberating. I did a survey, by the way. I have the data I need. I'm just stressing about doing something wrong like a true human. Yes, exactly. Hashtag humans. Go humans. Yeah. And I would say, don't stress. You have the data. You're lucky you have the data. You have the learnings, you have the findings, you have the knowledge, you have the evidence. And that should help you make a better decision. If you have good data and you can use it in the right way, then you should feel like you're making an evidence based decision versus opinions, guesses, and assumptions. You might have started with opinions, guesses, and assumptions. Sometimes we're stuck doing that in our jobs, but now you've got the data. You did run a survey, you've got the data, and might you still do something wrong? Maybe, but might you do a lot right? Probably, because you have the data and now you can use that to fine tune whatever you did with the writing. Ana Lucia says the thing that baffles me is celebrating such failure rates. It seems they haven't learned much from this. I agree. And Leaf says, this made my day. It was really helpful. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. Yeah, I do this every Wednesday, and I'm always happy to take questions and have people suggest topics. And really, we just kind of hang out and talk. And so, oh, we've got an anonymous question. I'm going to grab that one next. But Elif, hopefully we'll see you again in case you're leaving now. And if you want to stay, please do. Usually I try to stay here about an hour. Sometimes we end early if I don't get a lot of questions, but today we've been yapping. Okay, this came in anonymously through the email. See you. Be well, eat something delicious. Any advice on how to automate a user database? Any useful tools to send emails, manage, etc.? Interesting question. I think it really depends on what your purposes are. First of all, if you're sending a lot of emails, you probably want to use a third party tool that's going to send those emails for you. Because if you end up sending a lot of emails from one particular address or domain, you might get marked as a spammer, and that can be very hard to recover from. So take a look at services like SendGrid, not sponsored, not paying them. Just a company I've heard of. I think Twilio bought them. Who bought SendGrid? But take a look at third party services that will help you send emails. When it comes to a user database, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean a database of people who might be part of our research? Do you mean just a database of customers? Like, I don't understand what this database is of and what we're doing with it. But I will say in general that if you are going to be emailing these people a lot, you probably want to use an API and use an outside emailing company so that this doesn't end up making you or your company look like a spammer. Um, I'm using for I'm not a spammer. I send very few emails to my customers. And I do that through Monday.com. So I've connected my email account to monday.com, and I have a couple of automations set up where, for example, let's say you've had a coaching call with me. I have it set up so that I follow up with you 2 weeks later and 4 weeks later, and then I stop bothering you. But those emails don't come from me. Well, they come from me, but through an automation. So monday.com will send an email saying, hey, we met about 2 weeks ago. How are things going? Please book another coaching session if you'd like to. Thanks, Debbie. P.S. Please excuse that this is an automated email because I want to be honest with people that this was sent automatically and it didn't come from me, even though it comes from my email account. Now, I'm not sending a huge amount of those. I'm not even sending those every day. So I don't mind sending it from my real email account to people who are expecting to hear from me. I don't think they'll mark me as a spammer. But if you are automating a lot of emails and writing to people, first of all, the question is, did they opt in? Are they expecting to hear from you? If they are not expecting to hear from you, you might be a spammer. So be careful. A lot of people go, oh, I'm not a spammer. These people might be interested in this. Are you sure? We don't know. So be careful. You might be a spammer. So I think another thing would be to make sure that whatever database or system you're using, and again, you can use a SendGrid type of system, you could use a MailChimp type of system, but you want to make sure that people are opting in. And even if they have opted in, you want to make sure that they can opt out. You should not be emailing people who do not want to hear from you. Um, so, uh, I'm not sure if I've answered exactly what you were thinking, but based on the information I got, which was partial, that might be the best I can do unless I get some follow up information either live in the chat or through the anonymous thing, though that seems to be sending slowly today. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's, I would have to know more about how and why and who, probably to give some better advice, but that would be my initial general advice. And I hope it pushes your boat out and has you, hopefully you can start to research some of your options. Ana Lucia says, that's one of the issues I had during my shopping research. I sent emails and many people said it was in spam. That's just great. And yes, they were expecting to hear from me after the screener. Yeah, it's tough, especially if you send a lot of emails or BCC a lot of people. A lot of spam filters will say, oh, wow, this must be garbage. Who BCCs so many people? So, definitely important to think about not being a spammer, even by accident. So, hey, we've got a few minutes left together today. If there was a follow up to that question, I'm sorry it hasn't come in yet. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything today. But feel free to send stuff whenever you like. We can probably wind down the show. I can start pressing some of the buttons to get ready to end the show and our little ending show music. So, thanks to everybody for joining today on the Ask Me Anything show that I do every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Italy time. You are welcome to join. These are always archived later on YouTube. So, if you miss it live, catch it on YouTube. It's not always archived on Twitch. And send those questions in, keep them coming, bring up any topics you like. And we don't have a Tuesday show as of now, as I don't have a fresh topic, so I might just see everybody on Wednesday. Oh, good. And Ana Lucia finished her tea, so that probably means bathroom break. Thanks again for hanging out, everybody, and I will see you next Wednesday. Have a super week.